Hi everyone. Right, got a interesting Coleco expansion module here. Now people who watch my videos would know I collect Colecovision. She's over there, and when I bought my Colecovision in '83, this was available, but I didn't buy this because I didn't have any Atari games cartridges, so there was no point in getting this. So why have I got it now? Well, like I say, I collect Coleco stuff, so the games are in there. It's part of the collection. There's a bit of history behind this, actually. It's strange, isn't it? This expansion module, number one, if you don't know, it plays Atari games. It's basically a 2600, Atari 2600. Has its own cartridge slot, its own joystick ports. It has all the buttons that the Atari 2600 had, except the power button. Because it gets its power from the Coleco. This plugs in to the Coleco expansion port. Doesn't actually show you that bit, does it? But there's a, you look at this, here it is. There's an expansion port on the Coleco at the front. This just plugs into it. Don't have an Atari joystick. You can use the Coleco ones, but this is a Mega Drive. This works, and because it's an Atari cartridge, you don't need the keypad. The Atari didn't have the keypad. This works. The B button is the fire button, and the Atari joystick only had one fire button, and then this is your D-pad for movement. That's the cartridge slot there. So basically it gets its power from the Coleco. It sends the signal to the RF box, which then sends it to the TV monitor. So it's just basically a 2600. Now the history is Atari actually tried to sue Coleco. They were a bit pissed off. Went to court. But what Coleco had done when they made this, they'd used off-the-shelf parts. They never used any Pacific Atari components. So basically anyone could do it. Wouldn't get away with that these days. There's a lot more control, but this was, I think this come out in '82 in the USA, came out in '83 in the UK. Now the 2600 did have a dedicated Atari chip. Coleco did not, use. They put their own chip in. Kind of cloned it. So they actually lost. Atari lost the case. They ruled, well, it's your own fault. You should have patented the components, which they didn't. Why did Coleco do it? Well, I don't think it was just to piss Atari off. I think they did it because the 2600 came out in 77 and the Coleco came out in 82. That's a 5-year difference. One of the reasons why the Coleco's more powerful. Came out later, 5 years later. So people would have bought the Atari, would have bought games, cartridges. They might have been tempted to get the Coleco, but I think the idea was anybody with an Atari and cartridges could then just have the Coleco. They could sell on their console, keep the cartridges and just have the Coleco and this, and I don't know. Plus, people who would buy the Coleco may also want to buy Atari cartridges, which would have helped Atari, wouldn't it? So, in the end, they kind of just shook hands, and Coleco then started to make cartridges for the Atari 2600, and Atari started to make cartridges for Coleco. And I think Coleco agreed that for these units that they sell, Atari would get a percentage royalty, and it just ended there. So yeah, it's quite funny, isn't it, really? Yes, but I've just bought this for the collection. No, I didn't have any Atari cartridges, never had them. But this came with 4. I'll show you that. So it came with Pac-Man, came with Night Driver, came with Space Invaders, and it also came with Asteroids. Tested the unit, say this isn't an unboxing, it's already been unboxed, and I tested it, and I tested it with Pac-Man, and it's working. I thought I might have had to have done, some repairs, but it's actually working. So now I've got something to show you here, because see Night Driver here, use with paddle controllers, and if you look at all the others, it says use with joystick controllers. So there are some Atari games that use the paddles. So seeing I was in a shopping mood, I've got some paddles, Atari paddles. You also get a cartridge with 4 games on, which is, these are all paddle games. Breakout, Canyon Bomber, Night Driver, well I've got that anyway, and Video Olympics. I think that's just like Pong. Do you remember well, unless you're my age you probably wouldn't, but Atari came out with the Pong first, which is like different sports, and it's basically, anyway you'll see that, we'll put that on. So yeah, So we'll go through these. Like I say, I know Pac-Man works, but I haven't tried the others yet. I just did that to make sure the unit was working, and it is. So yeah, there are a few Atari games actually. When I was in the forces, people were buying the Atari, and I do remember some of the Atari games. Centipede, Galaxian. There were a few that weren't too bad, so I might see if I can pick them up. So in my collection, well, I've got the expansion 2, which is I bought that in 1983 when I bought the Coleco, so I didn't get the expansion 1. I've got I didn't have the roller control, but I have now. It's on the top there. And that's brilliant, that works. It's a great thing. Some of the games you play with the roller controller rather than the joystick. These are the 5 buttons. These are the games I've got here. All of them. These at the top here. And you notice I've got the Super module. And I've actually got the Coleco Pac-Man. There's the Coleco Pac-Man. So we can play the Atari ones and then put this on. And you'll see, why the Coleco was more powerful. Yeah. Now I'm not a type of person that slags Atari off. Wouldn't do that because it came out in '77, and for 1977, there was apart from Pong, there was nothing really. So I give them a big thumbs up for what they did. And there are a lot of Atari fans, a lot of collectors. Obviously the Coleco came out in the UK in '83, and I thought I'm going to get one of them because it was much more like the arcade, more powerful machine, and that super module makes it even more powerful. There were some super action controllers. They had the keypad on the top, joystick, and 4 action buttons. I managed to order a couple of them, and the person's away at the moment who I'm buying them off, and as soon as he gets back from holiday, they should be coming. I'll probably do a short video on them. Comes with the Rocky game, boxing. But you can use them super action controllers on any game, I believe. And the dedicated games, you'd need the super action controller because, like I say, it has 4 action buttons rather than just the 2 on the Coleco one. Yeah. What we'll do, see, it's all set up. We'll put these Atari games in. And, Now I'm going to have to put the camera just in front of the monitor there because it's an RF. I've not modded the Coleco to the composite, which you can do. You can get a kit and change it to composite. So it's just in an RF and you can't capture that. So I'll just put the camera in front of the, but I mean it's only basically so you can see what the Atari games are like. Okay, so I'll set that up. Okay, I've set it up. TV. So switch the Coleco on. This is Space Invaders. And to start, just make sure the volume's up. To start, you press reset. Oh, this is playing Atari through the Colecovision. See if we can hit this. So I won't obviously play right through the game. Just show you. I'll play this for a long time. They're coming down, they're going to get me. This one here, got it. And they get faster, don't they? There you go. That's Space Invaders. Try Pac-Man. So, this is Pac-Man. Yeah, it's not a very good version, this. Oh, got me. A lot of criticism over this version of Pac-Man. As you can see, they're not pellets, they're more like dashes. And he doesn't seem to face. Got me. But I'd say it's playable. Obviously, I can understand why they were disappointed. Especially when you look at the Coleco version of it. Yeah. You don't have any fruit in the middle, you know, it's just like a square. Well, it's playable. And that's it. Yeah. have to keep switching the, when you change the cartridges, you have to switch it off. And then let's try asteroids. Press reset to start. Can't actually see the, I think that's, let's see if I can better. Picture, natural. Game. Yeah, I don't think so. No, you can't actually see the missiles being. Yeah, that warps it when you do that. Game select. Wonder if I can brighten that. A bit brighter. Again. Oh, it's doing there. It doesn't change it. Disabled. Does that help? Maybe. No. You can see it slightly now. Yeah. Not very good at this. see it again. Oh, that's one. My aim's terrible. Got it. And you go on to just another screen. As you can see, it'll play any 2600 game. Ah, got me. Yeah. So, it's a good addition to the Colecovision, definitely. I was just using the Coleco controller there, but you can use the Mega Drive or the Genesis in the United States. They call it the Genesis. They couldn't call it the Mega Drive because somebody else had that name, some other company, and that does work. Because when I got it and I tested it, I actually used the Mega Drive controller. But I thought I'd try the Coleco one as well. Or you can put an Atari controller in. So it all works. So good addition, yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, everyone.